The global coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic is forcing more employees to work from home every day as a part of physical distancing urgency. Each of us connecting to our household's router to carry out record numbers of teleconferences. And there's one pressures on the broadband networks to support the unprecedented demand for connectivity. And in short, some of biggest internet services provider just revealed that they experience increase in internet data traffic amidst the physical distancing urgency. So without further ado, let's check it through the next graphic. So here it is. Through the next graphic, we can see some of the biggest telecommunications company has reported they have the increasing internet data traffic. First of all, we can see the Telkomsel just reported 5% for the increasing internet data traffic. And then moving on to XL Axiata, that just revealed they just have a surge of internet data traffic by 10 until 15%. And Smartfren also went up 10% for its internet data traffic. And 3, Indonesia, by 10 until 15% increasing data traffic. And Indonesia's internet usage has surged as consumers shift to working at home and prefer doing Netflix and chill to spend the day. It is because the coronavirus is keeping families indoors. While actually Netflix and chill is only the tip of the iceberg, while actually the increase in data comes from a wide range of activities, from children accessing educational material online, playing digital games, and watching films and TV from multiple devices, as well as people working from home. And therefore, I will tell you which categories actually that are affected the most through the next graphic we can see. Here it is through the next graphic. In any moment, we can see, here it is, the categories with most increasing data usage. We can see the 3 essentials applications in here, which is social media apps. Which has a surge of 19%, and online gaming for 13%, and cloud storage for 10.4%. And maybe we can see other like content providers by went up 8.2%, and also this Payload traffic increase in digital advertising by 7.5%, and also video streaming by 7.3%, and browsing that went up 5.2%. And that networks were already built for the peak usage in the evening when users come back home and stream video and other content. The implications in demand outside work, such as for gaming, social media scrolling, and streaming, are much more data intensive than the work tools, which means that the broadband network should be prepared with the cope with additional work from home use. And regarding zonations, there are some regions that experience increase more than any regions during the coronavirus pandemic. So let's check it through the next graphic. Through the next graphic, in any minute, we can see, here it is, the regions with the highest increase of the internet traffic payload. First of all, maybe we can start with the West Java as the first place. That has an increase by 7.9%, and moving on to the second place goes to Central Java, with the additional traffic payload by 6.9%, and then moving on to the third place, which is East Java, with a 5% increase in internet traffic payload. And then we can see in Sumatra, Central Sumatra has a surge of internet traffic payload by 4.7%, and South Sumatra 4.2%. And the internet service providers can play a critical role in supporting society during this unprecedented time. And moreover, if we see that Indonesians are very needy to the internet connections, there's a data stated that the number of social media users in Indonesia increased by 12 million, or went up 8.1% between April 2019 and January 2020. There are actually more reasons about how Indonesia becomes so needy with the internet connections. So let's see it through the next graphic. So here it is, the reason why Indonesians are very needy with the internet connections. Here it is. First of all, there are mobile phone users in Indonesia as much as 338 million people. And you can imagine that when we turn out to say that internet users in Indonesia is really big because of the population is really big as well, internet users in Indonesia hit 175.4 million people. And speaking about more substantial thingy, or we can so-call this as social media users, in Indonesia, there is 160 million people that use social media actively. And the source of these data gathered from the We Are Social and Hot Issues sources. Internet use is surging during the corona pandemic because people learned and worked from home. Rather than asking customers to refrain from using internet services, network providers have instated that their infrastructure is capable in supporting the surge in demand. And because of this, telecommunications companies like Tri Indonesia, XL Axiata, and also Indosat have requested tax relief. Increased data traffic does affect the income for sure. It is because companies need to invest more in increasing capacity. But however, investment becomes more expensive because the rupiah weakens against US dollar. And therefore, Vice President Director of Tri Indonesia, Dani Buldiansa, demanded the government to give incentive to internet service providers and specifically on the tax relief. And currently, these internet service providers have been burdened by many tax obligations actually. So what are those? Let's see it from the next graphic. Through the next graphic, in any minute, we can see internet services provider payment obligations that burden the company instead. So first of all, from their gross income, they have to make proportions for non-tax revenue and also universal service obligations, or so-called as USO. First of all, from the gross income, they have to spend at least 0.5% to the non-tax revenue, to the state income. And then, of course, to the second proportions goes to universal service obligations by 1.25% from its gross income. And same concern goes to Indonesia's Internet Service Providers Associations, or so-called APJI. The association's chairman, Jamalul Iza, has sent a letter to coordinating Ministry of Economic Affairs. Through the letter, he suggested government to give tax relief on the telecommunications industry. And this is in regards to tax incentive packages for 19 business sectors, which government didn't even include telecommunications inside of it. On the other hand, Indosat addressed a more specific issue. Company hope that the telecommunications sector regulatory charge is postponed. Regulatory charges are actually included as operational costs, contributing around 25% to the company's total operating expenses. And therefore, COVID-19 is already having a significant impact on the internet services and placing a greater demand on the network. We hope nothing but the best for the internet providers to give its maximum performance to its users, and also government to facilitate the needs of the internet service providers. And stay tuned to market headlines, because we will be right back after the break.